everyone, welcome to the business interview where we're at the Paris Air Show, and today we're speaking to Gary Scott. He's president of commercial aircraft at Bombardier, the Canadian company. Thanks very much indeed, Mr. Scott, for speaking to us today.
Glad to be here.
You've come to Le Bourget with a new product, the CSeries. What kind of a reception have you been getting?
We're getting a terrific reception. Actually, behind us here, we have a pavilion where we're showcasing the CSeries interior in a new mock-up we have that's identical to the specifications. So it really displays the 5 abreast unparalleled comfort we're providing in a single-aisle airplane. So it's been a bestseller, and it's been very, very busy.
What kind of orders have you been getting here at Le Bourget?
So we've announced 2 new orders here at Le Bourget. One from an undisclosed customer. They wanted to remain undisclosed for now for competitive reasons for 10, and then also for Korean Air. They announced their intent to buy up to 30 CSeries.
And they're important because they're your first customers in Asia, right?
Exactly. So a really important customer, a really marquee customer, well-known, well-respected network carrier. This is going to help them reach further into China, Japan, areas around Korea for their customers.
Could you give us any hints who the undisclosed buyer is?
No, I can't. Everybody asks that, you know, what continent, where, but that's a slippery slope, and so we can't go down there. But this is the 4th customer now. 4 customers in the last month we've announced for the CSeries. So we're really gaining momentum, and it's really like a domino effect. You know, with each new customer, other prospective customers increase their sense of urgency because they realize delivery spots are being taken, and they better sign up soon.
Now, the CSeries aircraft will take between 110 and 130 passengers. This is a segment where Boeing and Airbus are the dominant players. How are you going to be able to persuade more customers to come over to you? You're the new start. You're the fresh starter.
Well, it's true, but I would say first of all, Bombardier has you know, a long reputation in the regional aircraft market, and so a step up into the lower end of the mainline market is like a natural evolution for us. And also, what's really important to understand is that the CSeries is really an aircraft that's optimized for this 100 to 150 seat segment. Boeing and Airbus actually serve this segment with downsized versions of their larger 737 and A320 models. So for the first time in a long time, customers will have an optimized solution for this market segment.
The CSeries is supposed to be airborne in 2013. Are there any risks of delays to that schedule? In the recent years, when aircraft makers have been developing new products, we've seen a lot of delays with, for instance, the Dreamliner as well as for the A350 and other aircraft.
Yeah, you're right. Everybody anticipates a delay these days. It didn't used to be that way, but the experience on the Dreamliner and the A380 and other aircraft have made skeptics out of everyone. But we are on track for delivery in late 2013. Program's going really well. We're basically in the middle of our development phase. We've completed all our demonstrators for the fuselage, for the wing, for our systems, and so everything looks good. I should say these are complicated projects, so it's not easy, but we're on track.
Now, Republic Airways of the United States, the owners of Frontier Airways, they were some key customers of yours, or they are key customers of yours. They're ordering 40 aircraft of the CSeries. They've said during this air show that they're going to buy Airbus A319 Neos, which is pretty much a similar aircraft. Aren't you scared you're going to lose this key customer?
No, not scared at all. Actually, they made us aware that they were in discussions with Airbus for the larger A320, as well as potentially some A319s. They obviously made an announcement of their intent to order those aircraft, but they reaffirmed to us and publicly that they love the C-Series. They agree it's a game-changing airplane, and they are happy with the order, and they're going to stick with us.
So you're positive that deal will still go ahead?
Absolutely.
Now, isn't there a risk that the C-Series could become a distraction for you away from where you're strong at the moment in the regional aircraft market?
Well, I suppose there is a risk, but we're well aware of that risk, and our intent is to remain the #1 regional aircraft manufacturer, as well as becoming the #1 aircraft manufacturer in the 100 to 150 seat segment. So we're not taking our eye off the regional ball. As a matter of fact, we just recently introduced a new CRJ, the largest regional jet, CRJ 1000, seats up to 100 seats, and we've also upgraded recently the Q400, so we have a next generation version of that.
Where are these two aircraft, the CRJ and the Q400, in their life cycle? How much more energy, so to speak, do they have in them? How much more juice can you get out of them in terms of profitability?
Well, I think to look at them separately, the Q400 is only 10 years old, 11 years old. So if you look at an airplane program, and they go on for 30, 40 years, so it's still relatively young in its life cycle. And of course, we continue to upgrade them. As I just mentioned, we just introduced what we call the next generation version of the Q400. And on the CRJ, we started out with a 100, 200, and we introduced the 700, 900 in the late 90s. So they are relatively fresh. And as I just pointed out, the 1000 was just introduced this year.
But the Q400, of course, it's a propeller aircraft. Does anyone want to buy propeller aircrafts these days?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, there's often talk about a unducted fan for the jet aircraft, but the true unducted fan is the turboprop. And so there's no more fuel-efficient propulsion system than a propeller-driven propulsion system. So with the high price of oil these days, the demand for turboprops is increasing, and especially for larger ones like the Q400 that seats up to 80 seats. And so if you put them and it's faster. So if you put it into a airline's network, it fits really well up to like 500 nautical miles, and it's the most fuel-efficient aircraft out there.
Now, about what you just mentioned, their fuel efficiency, is that the main thing that customers at this stage, airlines, are looking at, do you think?
It dominates the conversation. So if you look at all our products, they're the most fuel efficient in their segment. I mean, the C-Series will will burn 20% less fuel than anything in production today. That's huge for the airlines, which also means, by the way, 20% less carbon emissions. The CRJs that we produce burn the lowest amount of fuel in their segment, the same with the turboprops. So fuel is a dominating factor. It's about half of the cash operating costs that an airline incurs these days, so fuel is very important.
What do you think of the airline market as a whole, or the commercial aviation sector as a whole? Boeing says it expects that there will be 33,500 planes sold over the next 20 years, which is a fairly upbeat forecast. Do you agree with that forecast?
Yeah, we do, actually. I think Boeing and us are pretty well aligned. Of course, we just look at the forecast below 150 seats, and it's pretty consistent with Boeing. For us, we see 13,000 new airplanes up to 150 seats over the next 20 years. 7,000 of those will be in the C-Series segment. It's over $400 billion worth of market potential for us. So, yeah, we do agree with Boeing.
What kind of a market percentage, what kind of a market share will Bombardier have in, let's say, 5 years or in 10 years' time?
Well, I think as you just look forward and you count the orders, we will get 50% of the market for the C-Series. And again, it's because we have the optimized solution. So we'll lose some market to downsized versions, again, of the 737 and A320, because some airlines will want to keep the commonality with the bigger aircraft. We'll lose some of the market to upsized versions of Embraer products as they want to build commonality, but we'll get 50% of that market, and we'll continue to get more than a third of the regional aircraft market. So we feel pretty bullish about our possibilities here over the next 10 years.
There's a lot of fear, though, still in the global economy. There's talk of, for instance, a double-dip recession in the United States. What would happen to the aviation market if that were to happen?
Well, you know, the economy is really important to all markets, including the aviation markets. You know, we're glad that things have been moving in a positive direction here the last couple of years. But you're right, there are some signs of weakness in the U.S. The airlines need positive GDP because that turns into more travel by the public, which translates into more revenue, which translates hopefully into more profit for the airlines, which translates into orders for us. So it's important for us all, I'm sure even in the television business, that the economy keeps moving in the right direction.
It certainly does help. Thanks very much indeed, Gary Scott, for speaking to us today.
Okay, thanks for your interest.
And with that, we're going to wrap up the program. Thanks for watching France 24.